But before all of that, she captured our hearts as Hayley Cropper, first stepping onto Coronation Street in 1998, before saying goodbye over 15 years later.
Well, now, Julie Hesmondhalgh, she's taking on one of her most powerful roles yet. Her new play, Punch, tells the true story of a devastating crime and the extraordinary journey of forgiveness that followed.
Yeah, and Julie joins us now. This is
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's such an amazing play, isn't it? And it's touching so many people.
Yeah.
Can you give us a quick rundown?
Of what it's about. So it's a play that was born in Nottingham. It's based on the memoir of a young man called Jacob Dunn, who on a night out in Nottingham in 2011 killed another young man with a single punch. It's written by James Graham, who wrote Sherwood on the telly and Dear England in the theatres about Gareth Southgate and the England squad. And it is about what happened to Jacob after that. He served a sentence and then engaged in restorative justice with the victim, James Hodgkinson's mum and dad, and how that event turned his life around. He went on back to school to do his GCSEs, got a first in a degree in criminology, and now, astonishingly, James's mother and Jacob share a platform and go campaigning in schools and prisons together, talking about the power of forgiveness, restorative justice, the dangers of the one punch and alcohol-related violence, and about how we are failing our young people and specifically our young men.
Can you just explain, just in case anybody isn't sure, what the process of restorative justice actually is?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I hadn't known anything about, really, and it's something that very few people are being offered. And actually, running alongside the play is a campaign called Right to be Heard that Jacob has set up to try and make restorative justice available to all victims of crime. So basically, it is a very, very well curated and managed process that takes over a long, long period of time where the victim of a crime and the perpetrator make contact, sometimes just through letters and emails, and sometimes they will meet face to face. And what's interesting is that it can seem like a soft option for criminals, and I know that's a criticism that people will have of it, but perpetrators have said that prison is a doddle compared to sitting opposite the person that you have caused harm to, whether that's a burglary, a robbery, or a murder in this case, and actually look into the eyes of the person you've harmed and hear them tell you that and have to take accountability for your actions. And so it's an incredibly powerful tool.
Yeah.
Not only for rehabilitation, it reduces reoffending
Which is hugely important, right?
But it's also an incredibly healing and important thing for the victims of crime. Yeah, and it has been an astonishing thing for John and David, who were being eaten up by bitterness after what had happened to them, because Jacob got quite a short sentence because he didn't mean to kill James. It was one punch, which is unfortunately a very, very prevalent thing. People go out fighting on a Saturday night and you can take someone's life if you punch someone in the wrong place or if that person hits the pavement in the wrong way. So the play's very much about raising awareness about that too. But they were very, very bitter and upset. They wanted answers. And I think that the process was very long and over many years, but has led to some kind of peace about what's happened. And in Joan's case, forgiveness of Jacob, to the point where she would call them friends now.
It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? Why do you think there is such an appetite for this play at the moment? Because I know it's going to Broadway.
Yeah, opened up Broadway last night.
There are...
which is insane for the real people involved. Can you imagine? It's on... people are portraying their story here and on Broadway.
It's insane. And then I know that Jacob is running talks afterwards as well, after the performances. Why do you think there is such an audience for it, and why do you think people have such an appetite for it at the moment?
Well, I think we're living in a very divided and divisive world at the moment. I think there's a lot of feelings of them and us. I don't think we're being particularly encouraged as a culture at the moment to put ourselves in other people's shoes and to try and understand why people act in the way they do. the wonderful thing about James Graham as a writer is that this is a very beautiful and personal and deeply human story. And it's full of humour. I need to say that too. You know, it sounds like it's very hard-hitting, which it is, but it's also a colourful, hopeful, lively show as well, full of real human beings talking in the way that real human beings do, you know, no matter what they've been through.
Yeah.
But I think that he also is very keen to examine the structures that cause people to behave in certain ways. So it talks about the criminal justice system. It talks about the nature of forgiveness and how it's not a wafty, lovely thing. It's a difficult, robust, messy thing that is hard to get hold of. And I think that people really are desperate to be trying to understand where we're going wrong, particularly with our young people at the moment. And how prison isn't serving young men. They're coming out, you know, with more problems than they went in with. And the play asks all these questions. And, you know, we were talking before about adolescence, Kat, and, you know, and how that has captured, you know, the hearts and imaginations of the nation. Everybody watched it because it's a part of our young people's existence that we don't know about and that we need to know more about. And this play does that too.
I think as the parents as well, our generation, we don't understand everything that they're seeing or they're watching or who's kind of infiltrating themselves into their lives. And I think that's terrifying.
Yeah. What's fascinating, Julie, is hearing you talk, and clearly the play has been a big success already. You're in the West End, it's in the Broadway, and the reaction has been phenomenal. But the process of rehearsing the play, I know at times you were very conflicted about the idea of playing this role because it's such a powerfully personal story for Joan and David, for Jacob, and of course James, who sadly died.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a huge responsibility when you're portraying a real person. And Jacob has been involved from the very beginning because the play is based on his memoir, which is a fantastic read. But Joan and David entered the process at Nottingham Playhouse a little bit later, and the first time we met them in person as a company was in a very brightly lit rehearsal room where we did a run-through of the play. And we were acting out some of the worst moments of their life when they turned off James's life support machine in the hospital. And I really, really questioned at that point whether we were doing the right thing, whether it was exploitative, if we were using their story, you know, for yes, the greater good to tell a story that's important, but actually the grace and humility and courage of those people is so off the charts of anything I can understand that they made it okay for us, and they know that this story has James's memory at the heart of it, and that what they want to do is spread a message about restorative justice in particular and about the healing power of forgiveness and what that actually means. And that is so relevant for our interpersonal relationships, but nationally and internationally as well at the moment, about how we move on from very, very difficult things.
Wow.
It's just extraordinary, isn't it?
It is absolutely...
And so compelling, and particularly the idea of restorative justice and that being offered as a vehicle, because I know it's not always to the victims that actually firstly feel like they can use it and it might help them in some way, and then equally for the perpetrators to want to be willing to put themselves in that situation.
And to be accountable for what they've done and interrogate the harm that they've caused, you know. And Remedy, which is a fantastic organisation that we've been working with, that I'm a patron of now, you know, the work that they do in prisons, in schools, in communities, it's so far-reaching, and the success rate of what they're trying to do, which is to reduce crime, ultimately, is so huge, but it's still not being offered at all enough to victims of crime. So that is Jacob's campaign at the moment to get that done. Yeah, so it's a wonderful thing to be part of in every possible way.
Well, it's lovely to speak to you, to hear you talk about so passionately. It sounds extraordinary, doesn't it?
I could listen to you talk about... Like, I have so many questions, and it just makes your own head start to ask questions. Like, could you sit opposite?
Could you forgive? And also what you're capable of as a person. And these talks that we're doing on Tuesday nights after the show are very much about that, talking about masculinity, talking about forgiveness, about empathy, those things. And also, you know, I have to put an amazing word in for our producers and Go Live, who are a charity that provide affordable tickets to people who wouldn't be able to come and see West End
that's
shows.
Brilliant.
So we're having whole community events, community groups coming, state school matinees.
That's a great idea.
We want policymakers to come and see this, but we also want young people to be able to see it. And the producers have made an amazing job of making a West End theatre, rather than just a commercial sort of outlet, about something that will actually
far
change
bigger,
lives, hopefully.
unquestionably.
Amazing.
Another thing that you're doing that's going to have massive impact elsewhere as well, Julie. It's fabulous to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you.
Your passion.
Thank you.
Tickets to see Punch, it's at London's Apollo Theatre, are out now.